Let me tell you something. Ben Johnson is one of my idols. It was athletes like Michael Jordan, Ricky Henderson, and this guy right here, Ben Johnson. So what I want to do, I want to bring us back to a Canadian heritage moment where we were so proud as a country, man.
And it's a fair start. And it is Raymond Stewart with a start. It is Ben Johnson with
Just
a start.
a monster.
Can Carl catch him? No. It's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson does it again.
Bitch ass Carl Lewis, man.
Absolutely.
You know how people say, you shouldn't meet your idols and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I met him just in the park, Monarch Park. So I'm walking through. Yeah. I see him with his lady. I don't know if it's his lady, but this lady. I'm with my kids. I'm with my lady. And I walked by and I knew his eyes. Because the eyes don't lie, Chico. You know what I mean? Ben Johnson's eyes. But he was smaller than I thought. So I'm looking at him like, Ben Johnson? I told him, I wrote you a letter when I was 11, man. I had your book. You were my idol, man. Like, you still are there for me. I think I was 43 when I was telling him this. Like, I'm like a kid again, right? I got to shake his hand. Yeah, I'm a runner, this and that, boom, boom, boom. He was so cool. He had like a real good bubble around him, a good vibe around him, man. Even though whatever, give him his gold back. You know what I mean?
It's interesting that you talk about Ben Johnson. There's a show that just came out. It's about his story. Instead of turning it into a drama, they turned it into a comedy. And
What's it called?
It literally just came out. Hate the Player.
Hate the Player. Ooh, wait.
Hate the Player. That's what it's called. Yeah, I actually auditioned for this show.
Did you really? To be Ben?
Lewis. No, to play Carl.
Oops, sorry, I said bitch ass Carl Lewis. Well, I mean, if you get the part for bitch ass Carl Lewis, I hope you kill it. Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome back, everybody, to the Ben Stortini Show. I'm your host, of course, Mr. Ben Stortini. That's BENSTORTINI. And yes, that's a pasta noodle for you that don't know. Now, listen, everybody. I hinted at it a couple episodes ago that I might get my guy on. This guy right here. Let me just, before you even say a word, this guy right here, his name is Emmanuel. He's even got a Hollywood star name. I could see this name on a sidewalk with a Canadian star, a Hollywood star, Emmanuel Kapango. Like that right there tells me you're a star already. So I asked him, I said, listen, we met at the gym, this and that. There's a same sort of vibe around him. Athlete, this and that. Good dude. I said, listen, I would love to get you on my show because personally, selfishly, I would love to get a fucking movie star on the show. And look at this. Listen, everybody. We had Young Bleed on here, rest in peace. Now we got a fucking movie star on the show. Emmanuel Kapango. Listen, go look him up. He's legit. He's got a new movie out called Sway. How many people you know went and had a movie in Cineplex Odeon, go get some popcorn and have a big giant Pepsi and watch his movie on the big screen? This guy right here. Emmanuel, how you doing today? Thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you today?
Man, Ben, thank you so much. I love the way you say my last name.
Did I say it wrong?
You said it perfect. No, you said it right. But
did I say it right?
You said it perfectly right, but you said it with like
conviction.
An African accent.
Oh, did I?
Like a conviction. Yeah,
that's a bit of my Italian comes out when I see good words.
That's why.
Yeah,
no, but I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed.
Why don't you quickly introduce yourself to everybody that doesn't know who you are? Let them know.
Yeah, well, my name is Emmanuel Kabango. I
did say it right.
Congo, and you did, yeah. You did. I'm from Congo and born and raised, born in Congo, grew up in South Africa, raised in Toronto, downtown Toronto my whole life. And I started off, before getting into acting, I started off as an athlete. I wanted to be a soccer player. And nobody really played soccer in my neighborhood. Me and my siblings all developed basketball. Being the firstborn out of 6 kids, I kind of picked up the sport really late, whereas 3 of my siblings ended up playing for Canada, D1, and one eventually played in the NBA. But for me, I got into the arts because my mother loved movies, we discovered this place called Blockbuster.
Hey, I miss Blockbuster. Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
Yeah. So we lived around Cape and Danforth, and there was that big Blockbuster by Danforth and Jones, right? And my mother used to basically rent out all these movies. And the first time I heard about Denzel or Tom Cruise or even Will Smith was because my mom would go to Blockbuster and rent these movies and bring them home. And she'd be like, watch this and stuff. So that's just a little bit about me.
I
And
love that.
yeah, yeah.
I thought the timing was perfect to have you on because we had a conversation the other day. You're packing it up and you're moving back to LA, man. Just like your hat says right there. You're moving to Los Angeles. I love that. And the reason I love that is because not a lot of people nowadays, it's sort of a dying art of people chasing their dreams, man. People actually going for it and letting their balls hang and being a man about it and just following their gut and following their heart. I wanted to talk about that with you, that because not a lot of people do that. A lot of people, they're just happy to be stable, happy to be where they're at right now and comfortable. Now you're taking yourself out of a comfortable situation and making yourself, I mean, you've been there before, but you're going back and you never know what's going to happen, right? Vibes always change. Yeah. And so, to preface this, I kind of did the same thing before I hand it off to you. Is I moved to the UK for a while. I tried out for the basketball team there as well, but I followed a girl over there, and I almost got married, man. I was engaged, and I sold everything before I left. I was living by Symington and Dundas West, that area. I sold everything. I sold my DVDs, my CDs. I kept some of my CDs, but I sold everything. Clothes. I was on the streetcar around the city, whoever would buy my shit, I took your money, and quit my job at YTV, and I went to Cardiff, Wales. Now, that wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was realizing that, long story short, her father was the vicar of the British Army, and they were very well off, very posh. And he tried to change me. I showed up in a leather jacket, tight ass jeans, and thinking I'm a rock star. Well, I was a rock star, but he was literally laying out sweaters and chinos for me, like trying to change who I was. And I realized as the months passed that they're trying to change who I am. So I made the decision, long story short, to move back and to cut that all off, even though, I got to cut my losses. And that's following my gut and following my heart, that I knew I had to do it. So I want to pass it your way, man, because I understand what's going on. And I want you to let these people know that, give them a little bit of a nugget to just go with, that to follow their dreams and why you're doing what you're doing.
Your timing is impeccable, and even the time we met is perfect, because prior to now making the decision to go back to LA, I was living there permanently since 2018, and then COVID hit. Every Canadian got worried. I moved back, but I still had my place out there. I was renting out. I ended up moving back to Toronto also for a relationship, that ended up not working out in a way, Yeah. But I remember the first time you talked about basketball, going back to England for going to England for basketball, but then really a girl. The first time I actually went to LA was because of basketball, but
That's
not
crazy.
not because of me, but because of my brother.
Right.
My brother was an elite 24. So in the world of basketball, there's McDonald's All-American, there's Jordan an All-American, and then there's Elite 24. So the 24 top players in the country, in the world at that point. We're all meeting in Venice, and my brother was the number one point guard at that time. And so he got invited to play at this tournament in Venice. So me and some of my siblings and friends, we ended up going to LA. And I remember at the time I was still in my mid-20s, didn't do much as an actor, had an agent here in Toronto. And I remember when I went to LA for the first time, and I was around the beach in the sun and did that whole walk around the stars, the boardwalk.
Yep.
And I saw myself, I'm like, one day I'm gonna live here. I think I could live here. I like the sun, it's inspiring. Some people are nice, the women are beautiful, the people are just nice, you know what I mean? Fast forward, I came back to Toronto, and I got into this program. Because you've heard of the Canadian Film Center,
Yes, yes.
the CFC. I got into this program, and through this program, we got introduced to an entertainment lawyer. And then I kind of learned this is what you need to put in order to get your working visa. These are the things you need to put together. There's like 10 criteria, and you have to try to meet 3 out of 10. So me being an athlete, someone who just loves to perform and compete, I said, you know what? I'm going to try to meet nine out of the 10 because one of them is science,
Love
and
that.
with art it doesn't match. So I did everything I could to get every piece of document to meet those nine criteria. At the same time, brother, I had
Yeah.
a part-time job. I had two jobs. Two. I worked at a daycare with children during the day,
Oof. Okay, now
right?
that yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So ages 6 to 12. I
Ay.
loved the job. It was the only job that didn't feel like a job. I was
Oh man,
used to
okay.
kids.
That's a
I could take care
specific
of,
type of person,
yeah,
man. You got a big heart.
yeah. Oh yeah, I could take care of 30 kids alone, right? And then in the evening I would go to acting class. And then after acting class, I would go work overnight at the GO train, UP train maintenance station. I would have to clean those trains and vacuum the platform, clean the urinals, like wipe down
You hear
the
that,
rails
everybody?
and stuff like that.
Listen to this. This is why I asked him this question, not to cut
Yeah,
you off, and I can't wait to hear
yeah,
the rest of this.
yeah,
But
yeah,
this is what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Things don't get just handed to you. Don't be a bitch.
No,
Go get yours.
no,
Continue.
no. Like, and I did that Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend I would try to relax. Saturday, Sunday I was off. I remember one time I'm in class, my day job, this other job, and I'm cleaning, I'm by myself, and I'm cleaning these trains, and now I gotta go clean the urinals and clean off people's piss. And I'm asking God, why am I here? I work so hard. I'm like, why am I here? And I heard God say to me, I want you to learn how to serve.
Oof,
You need to understand how to serve. Because in the arts, as an
man.
artist, as an actor, it's not about you. It's bigger than you. It's about serving. It's about serving the story. It's about serving these characters that you take on. It's about serving. It's not about your ego or your pride. It's about having humility. So this is to teach you, you know. And in the middle of the night, because I wasn't supervised, right? Like the way it worked is those trains, those UP trains, I'd start at 9 p.m. Those UP trains didn't show up at the station until 2 a.m. So from 9 to 10, I've done everything I need to do. Like I've cleaned the platforms, wiped all the offices, threw out all the garbage, and then I'm left doing nothing until the trains come out.
On your own.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
by myself. I would sneak out, and there was no Wi-Fi in the building, so I needed Wi-Fi connection to work on my laptop. I would sneak out, take my car, and drive 5 minutes away from the location to the McDonald's so that I can use their Wi-Fi. And I was putting together my visa package, like writing emails, drafting letters, using my Mac to like create like articles and stuff like that. Just everything I could find in order to get my visa package ready because I didn't want to get rejected.
Every story is a real story when a part in the story included is, and I had to go to McDonald's to use that Wi-Fi. That, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's real
Yeah.
shit.
And then eventually something came up where I landed a play, and the play was in Paris, France.
Beautiful. I was just there last
Yeah,
summer.
yeah. The Paris, France, and I got to quit the job. I went to Paris, came back, and then as soon as I came back, I got my visa. Yeah, I got my visa. Then I'm like, okay, now it's time to move to LA. And boom, I ended up moving to LA. And while in LA, I ended up connecting with other Toronto people, especially one guy in particular who's been like my big brother. He's not an actor, but he's in the arts. And he just always showed me love, especially when he was still living in Toronto and he moved to LA for his career in the art world. He was like, man, yo, give me your stuff. Show me your stuff. Show me your material. I know a bunch of people. So one day I ended up sending him my demo reel, and he sent it to someone at this company called CAA. He's like, oh yeah, I sent it to CAA. They want to meet you. So I get this email. Hey, we would like to meet you, Emmanuel Kabango. And I'm like, who's this person? I kind of get on and I Google who this agent was. Tell me why this is the agent that represented Tom Cruise,
Crazy.
Glenn Powell,
Crazy.
David Oyelowo, Bruce Willis, Charlize Theron,
Charlize.
Chris Evans. The list
Yo, that's
goes.
crazy.
The list goes on. Colin Farrell, Vanessa
Really?
Kirby. Yeah, and then I'm like,
Thank you.
But why does he want to? Why does he want to see me? I'm like, look at his like his. This guy represents mega stars. You know what I mean? Half of his clients like act in Marvel.
It's crazy.
You know, I would love to get opportunities like that. So, anyways, I went to that meeting, but prior to going to that meeting, I was working, and this is where it gets tricky. Just because you have a vision of yourself doesn't always mean people are going to have the same vision for you. You know, they're going to try
No,
to
yeah,
put you in a box.
that's gospel. Yep.
You know, so I remember my old manager that I was working with at the time, when I told him excitedly, "Hey, I got this meeting with CAA," and he's like, "Who'd you get this meeting with? How'd you get this meeting?" I'm like, "Oh, it's and he tried to pretend like he didn't know who this person was. This is like the number two agent at this company, and you're gonna tell me you don't know who he is?" And then he goes to me, "Oh, you don't have what it takes yet. They're not going to sign you. Why are you trying to go play with the big fish? You should stay exactly where you are. You already have an agent who's work. Why are you trying to go there?" I'm like, and he goes to me, "If you go to this meeting, I'm not going with you." And right then and there, I felt this small. Here I was really excited about this huge opportunity, because if that agent didn't see anything, he would have just. I've sent my package, my material to other agents who were smaller, who are lower than this agency, and they've denied me. They've said no.
That's heartbreaking, man.
But like to hear that manager, I was so heartbroken. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to this meeting and I'm gonna experience it. I went to this meeting. I was so nervous.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man.
I was so nervous
Forget
because
about it.
because in the back of my mind, I still had like subconsciously this person planted the seed, and instead of uprooting it, I let it seep within my system, and also like I was not sober. I've been sober over 2 years now. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So I was
congrats,
not.
man.
Thank you. I was
And
not
I've been
sober.
sober 6 years now, 6.5 years,
Yeah,
actually.
congratulations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. After that meeting, I remember how bad I felt. And I'm like, man, I bombed the meeting. And I did bomb the meeting because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how that big, like that
Yeah,
huge
but he
thing
had put
was.
that poison in your brain too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that agent was so nice. He was so kind. And he was like, we work different here at CAA, but I really like you. I'm going to keep you in mind. Fast forward, I ended up seeing that agent again at an art show from that same person that got my stuff in front of me.
Crazy.
And I'm standing from a distance, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, how do I know that face? And it hit me. We kind of walked towards each other, and he's like, hey man, I remember you. Listen, I'm a very busy man, but make sure you stay in touch with me. I'm always busy, but make sure. And I
Love
did.
that.
Fast forward, boom, you talked about my movie Sway. When I finally made that movie Sway, which I produced and I act in, I ended up getting a new manager. I fired my old manager, got a new manager, told her about this story, and she knew that agent very well. She's like, oh, I know him. I know him very, very well. He's a very hard person to be apart with, but like, if that's where you want to be, we'll get you there. She ended up sending Sway to him. Tell me why he ended up sending his assistant to come watch Sway. It kind of came back full circle.
That's
You
crazy.
know what I mean? It
That's
came back
beautiful,
full
though, man.
circle. Experiences like that, which is why I'm going back to LA. Like the opportunities are endless. I remember one time, last story, so I can
No,
let you
that's a
chime in.
perfect answer. Just
Um,
before you continue, you
yeah,
say, yeah, that's why I'm going
mm,
back to LA. You're
mm,
damn right. You got to go back to LA.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm going back because there were two people that I met, two people that are kind of hot right now.
Right.
And the first occasion was I'm at the screening for a movie, an African movie, and after the movie, the curator was this guy named Ryan Coogler. He's there curating the film, talking with having a Q&A with the filmmaker. After the Q&A, there's a green room, so I end up in this green room, and here I am at a snacks table. I'm picking some snacks, and I look up, and there's this guy looking at me, and it's Ryan Coogler. Mind you, he had just done Black Panther 1, right?
That's
So
crazy.
so he's kind of looking at me and I'm looking at him, and we kind of both go like this. And he goes, "What's your name?" I'm like, "My name is Emmanuel Kabongo." And he had that paper that he was curating with his questions, and he went in his pocket and he took out his pencil and he
Wrote your
wrote
name
my
down.
name down. Yeah, he wrote it down. He's like, "Nice to meet you, man." I'm like, "Yeah, nice to meet you too." And went away. Fast forward, right before COVID, right before COVID, I'm in LA. I end up at the NAACP Awards. I get invited. And then after the awards, some of my friends were like, here, man, let's go to this other party. Tell me why we end up back at the CAA party. And I'm at the CAA party. I'm seeing Desmond Idris. I'm like, oh. And then I turn around, I'm like, oh, shoot,
Stars.
that's Michael B. Jordan.
Oh boy.
I'm like, yo, that's Michael B. And I walk up to him and said, hey, man, I'm a big fan of your work. And he's like, super chill, really down to earth fella.
And you're like, oh,
And
there's Diddy. You're like, let's go.
it wasn't a white party. and But like after meeting him, we took some photos. I remember when I went home that day back to my apartment, I was like, yo, I belong here. I belong here. Not in an egotistical way, but in a
It
way
doesn't
that
come
I'm like,
across egotistical when you
no,
say that.
no, yeah. In a way that I'm like, God, you allowed me to go through this journey of like thinking that basketball or soccer was going to be what I did for life, growing up in South Africa, sleeping on floors with our mother, sharing one bed and our mother sleeping on the floor. If we didn't have a home because my mother couldn't pay for the rent, we got kicked out and we had to either stay with neighbors or we had to stay at a church with our mom for like 2, 3 years. And the first time we tried to come to Canada, we got arrested and put in jail with our mom. If God, if
Come
you
on.
if you put me through all that, I feel, and I'm around people who are human beings, you basically showed me that there's no, like, I should fear no man. I should respect people, but not fear people.
You were
You
sent to
know
serve, man.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's what I've been trying to do.
That's beautiful, man. I grew up in a single mom household as well. Actually, my last episode that's coming out tomorrow, I just gave a huge, I wanted to put them on the stage and give them as much respect as I could possible to the single moms, single dads out there too. It's not an easy job,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's a real struggle. The point of this show, why I made this show, was basically my grandfather had died on my Italian side last year. And I was
sorry
very
for that.
close to him. He was like my pops, man. It was real tough, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff. I was overrunning. I was running marathons. I was doing real well, but I was killing myself physically, like literally killing myself. I was 169 pounds on race day. Not an ounce of fat on my body, but inside I was breaking, and mentally and physically. And so I needed to talk to somebody, but I thought, you know what? I need a creative outlet and I need to talk to somebody. So why don't I just make this show a place for me to just have a creative outlet, but let it, because I wish I had found a show like this when I was dealing with that. That's why I made this show, hoping maybe somebody will find this and that will help them out. Whenever I have a guest on here, I always ask them the same question. You already said a couple, but can you remember a moment in your life where it has never left you? It was a very stressful situation, anxiety-filled situation that, will stick with you to the end. But you hold it with high regard and respect because it changed you as a man. How did you deal with that stressful situation? Or how do you continue to deal with that situation? And how do you keep your head high with it?
You shared there were two moments. You shared a story early on that you almost married somebody in a family that wanted to change you. And not to go into heavy detail, but I kind of went through something similar. And the time I was going through this, my mother is also battling with cancer, and she's still battling now. To see my mother fight for her life, literally, just last week, it started in the breast and it spread, and they found it in the liver, and then they found a tumor in the brain, and she had to get an operation. They took out the tumor, and the first time, and then she had to do chemo. And the first time they did this, my mom basically died.
Mom passed?
My mom passed.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
My mom, no, 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 no. She's still here.
Oh,
The first
Jesus.
time they did, yeah, no, 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 no. The first time they did chemo on my mom, it affected her.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Good Lord. Okay,
the
yes,
first
yes, yes,
time
yes, yes.
it
Okay.
affected her, and she basically died. And they had to revive her.
God.
Yeah, they had to revive her. The doctors told her that she had 6 months to live. She had 6 months to live, and that was 2021.
Oh,
I
look at
remember,
that.
yeah, I remember when I found out I was in my apartment in LA, but it didn't click for me. It didn't click, you know? I was still kind of living my life, drinking, part. Didn't click.
It doesn't when you're doing that, does it?
No,
Oh, that's so
exactly,
true. It's a
exactly.
very good point.
And and then my heart got broken. My heart got broken heavy, from a relationship. And I was tired. I was like, I'm never gonna let this happen to me again. And I think, but when you first started to see me at the gym, when I was just all like hoodie,
That's why I went to the gym too.
yeah,
I was doing the
yeah,
same thing. That's why I went there. I quit a gym
yeah,
after 13 years so I could
yeah,
put the hoodie up.
yeah, yeah. I was dealing with that thing.
Yep. That's crazy.
I
That's why I
was
went to that
dealing
gym.
with, yes, I was dealing with that thing. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to let this thing break me.
No.
I'm not gonna let it make me. I'm gonna use it. And then
Yes.
I made a decision. I'm like, I'm never gonna drink again. Number one.
Boom.
And I'm going to build my body. I'm gonna build my body. I'm gonna build my mind, and I'm gonna build my spirit. And I'm gonna deepen my relationship with God. And seeing that and doing that, all of a sudden, my relationship with my mom got like this,
Boom.
you know, to
Yep.
the point where my mom started to reveal secrets to me about the past that I did not know of. It's crazy the secrets that our parents keep from us to
So
protect
true.
us, right? But then I guess my mom realized that I was getting mature as a man, and she even said it to me one day. She's like, "Now you're ready to hear this. You weren't ready before, but you're ready. I'm going to tell you the truth about certain things." Because I realized if she had told me this prior,
Go.
without, I would have probably, you know what I mean,
That was like finding
overreacted.
out that my dad has extra kids all over the place.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
grew up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those were the moments that kind of were pivotal for me, And then one moment again was I have a mentor. I think it's very important for people to have mentors. One of my mentors, he's turning 70 years old. No,
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 those
no.
are the best ones to talk to,
He's
man.
sorry, sir. He's turning 80. He's turning 80 in
Yep.
2 weeks, right?
Triple
We go to the
OGs.
Yeah, yeah. We go to the Blue Jays games all the time.
Oh yeah.
We're always at the Jays game. So we were at the Jays game on Monday, and they played terrible. They were terrible on Monday,
Colorado.
and
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So me and my mentor were walking back to the car so that I could drop him at his car. We're by the Spadina and Front Bridge. There's a bridge there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're walking, and he walks slow, he's older gentleman, so I'm kind of pacing with him, but I know this guy has so much wisdom, and I'm just trying to soak in everything.
Yeah. Sponge that.
And I turned to him and I said, "Hey, Michael." His name is Michael Levine. Shout out to Michael Levine. I said, "Michael, I want to tell you a story. This bridge here, I almost jumped off this bridge a few years ago. I almost committed suicide. And every time I drive by this bridge, every time I walk by this bridge, I'm reminded how God saved me because of anxiety, because of not feeling like a man, because of not feeling like I'm a good son or a good brother, a good enough artist. I almost ended my life. I literally stood on the railing. But luckily, I had a group of friends that I was on the phone with that day. And I'm like, guys, I think I'm going to jump. Like, I cannot take this anymore. I'm done. And I was telling him I could see my brains on the train tracks that day. But it felt like there was an angel holding me from jumping. Luckily, some of my friends that were on the phone, that were on the line that day, they dropped everything they had and they drove all the way there to help me come
Those are real
down.
friends right there.
Those were real friends. Those were real friends. They helped me come down. They took me to St. Mike's, and it happened again. I almost jumped in front of a train. Thinking back in hindsight, I realized that the people we surround ourselves with, it's so detrimental. It's so important because there's life and death in the power of the tongue.
Man.
Sometimes
Yep.
people don't realize how powerful words. I know people say, "Oh, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words won't hurt me." They actually do. You can actually build someone with your words, and you can also break someone with your words.
There's so
Right.
much truth in that.
So, yeah, man.
That's beautiful. Thank you for one. Thank you for sharing that. And for anybody that's listening that's been in that situation, we've all, be able to admit that upstairs that go to some dark places
Yeah.
and how we dig ourselves out of it. And like you said, it's the company you keep. It's like if you hang out with 9 broke people, you're probably going to be the 10th.
Yeah.
So if you put yourself around good, humble, empathetic people with good hearts who stand tall with their head up and can look you in the eyes, those simple
Yeah.
traits right there, more of those people are going to find themselves towards you.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you find yourself in a dark position like you did and like I have, they find you to pull you
Yeah,
out of there.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
beautiful part about how the universe works, man. And I think that's
people are afraid to ask for help.
Oh,
People are afraid to ask for help.
Especially men, dude.
pride. Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, I think I'm older than you. I know I'm older than
Yeah.
you. And it's hard, man, because we're supposed to have our
Yeah.
shit together. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
supposed to be the pillar. We're supposed to be the strength. We're supposed to be the lion. And to
Yeah.
show any weakness is not a good thing, right? So,
Yeah.
but that's not weakness. Being
No.
able to ask for help is actually a strength.
It's actually strength. Vulnerability is strength. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is. All right. On that note, we're going to jump into this. I like to say switch worlds, and it's basically like a halftime. So let's go. You heard me.
All right, all right. I just want to give a shout out first and foremost to God. God gave me breath today, and so shout out to God. Thank you for another day. There are people out here that didn't make it, that are in hospitals, that don't have a roof over their head, no food in their belly, no clean water to drink, no clothes, no shoes on their feet. So thank you, God, for this moment, even this opportunity to be on this platform. I also want to give a shout out to my mom, who's continuing to fight in this life. Anybody that's been affected by cancer, whether it's directly or indirectly, you know how tough it is, if you're dealing with that person or yourself. So shout out to my mom for continuing to fight. I also want to continue to shout out to my siblings, my dad too. My dad is in my life. And shout out to him as well. But my siblings, regardless, I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. And regardless, the tough times they're going through, I just want them to know that I'm proud of you guys. I'm pleased with you with everything that you do. And just continue to show up for yourself and protect your heart, most important. And shout out to my mentor, Michael Levine. Thank you for continuing to believe in me. Regardless the wins and the losses, you continue to champion me. It's been 10 years plus as a mentor, and to have that is rare. You're a gem. Shout out to the Canadian Film Center. I'm now a 2-time alumni at the Canadian Film Center. I did the Actors Conservatory in 2015, and now the Producers Lab in 2025. So, wow, 10 years. So shout out to them. And also shout out to anybody and everybody out there that's going after their dreams. I think the beginning of our conversation started off with chasing the dreams, and shout out to you, for not giving up. You only fail when you don't give up. You only fail when you start to compare yourself to other people, and comparison is a thief of joy. So your journey is your journey. So shout out to you for continuing to get up, show up, and never giving up. So yeah.
Beautiful. And I'm going to end it with this. I want to give a shout out to you, man. I wish you only the best of luck. And I know you're going to kill it. Like I said, you deserve that star, man. So go get your star. And welcome back, everybody. And we're going to jump into the Stortini verse. And for you that don't know, and Emmanuel, you may not know about this, but the Stortini verse is this. It's every week I like to suggest some music because I love music. I come from a musical family. So I dig into my playlist of life and I play a couple of tunes and see what you think and see if your ears agree with me. Second, I like to suggest a documentary or I talk about the book that I'm reading. And lastly, I send you, the listener, off with a challenge to go into their weekend with. So last week, for example, I said, why don't you go tell your mom you love her, call your mom. Boom. Simple little challenge like that. So I'm going to leave that with you. When it comes to the challenge part, you come up with a challenge to send the listener home with that. So let's start off here with a little bit of music. So because the episode called LA Dreams. That's what I'm calling this episode. I wanted to play 2 songs here. One, this one's for you, the Mamas and the Papas, man. We're California dreaming, dude. This tune right here. This sets the mood. This is Venice Beach. And the sky is gray. Man, they don't music like this. They don't make music like this anymore, though. If I was in LA. So for you, man, you're following your California dreams, so I thought I'd play this for you, man. Go get yours. Shout out to the Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin'. That is an old classic right there. If you don't know, now you know. Listen, Mexico is my spot. I love Mexico.
Okay.
I love going down to Mexico. Listen, Ryan.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay, well, they sent Ryan Wedding home. You know, the Sinaloa cartel said, Ryan, you got to go home. Boom, I'm about to go take his place. Maybe if I find the right connects, right? But I want to send you something right here. This is, since you are going to LA, and the Narcos have this saint. Let me put a picture up here of who it is. His name is Jesus Malverde. And I wear a t-shirt actually in the gym of this guy. And
Yeah, I've seen you.
Who Jesus Malverde is, he is the narco saint. He was from Sinaloa, and he was I believe a carpenter, but they called him like the real Robin Hood. So when he went and did his business, he would bring all that money back to his village and to his town, and he would pay for the water. He'd make sure everybody had their weddings. He made sure everybody was happy, safe, and in control, right? That's who they prayed to. So I wanted to play this corrido. They're called narco corridos, and this one is from the band called Los Cadetes de Linares, and this is Jesus Malverde, sending you out to LA with maybe a little extra help on your side there. I play this so loud. I'll drive around Toronto, man. Drive down Gerrard, windows down, the 4Runner, just stare at people crazy. What? Senor, what? Just confuse the hell out of people.
You need that hat. You need that Mexican hat. What's it called? What's it called?
Oh yeah, sombrero, man. Yeah, I got a bunch of hats. But that's the one I don't have. I need to get that cowboy hat and just lace it up. So Los Cadetes de Linares, Jesus Malverde, I'm sending you off on your trip with good luck. We could all use a little bit of extra help. So if it's supernatural, here you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's really interesting that his name is Jesus. You said his name is Jesus, and he was a carpenter. Jesus,
Yes.
you know, he was a carpenter. You know, I know one who has the same name and started off as a carpenter. You know.
Oh yes, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Another Jesus.
That's the
He
truth.
was a carpenter. Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus was a carpenter. All right, so now we're going to jump into a documentary or the book. So I was going to talk about the book that I'm reading, but I would just watch this documentary by chance. And this shit right here, it was on Netflix. It's called Caterpillar. This is crazy. So long story short, this guy is from Miami, and he's broken. He's like 50 years old and he's broken. We talk about, this whole episode we've been talking about times that you find yourself in a dark place. He's in a very dark place, and he decides that the way to pull himself out of this dark place is to get his eyes colored into this color right here. And they do this surgery in India. So they basically change the color of your eye to these wild ass colors, right?
Yeah.
So he
permanent?
reaches out. Yeah, permanent. So he reaches out to this company and they say, yeah, we'll do it for free if you just allow us to use you as promo. He's like, yeah, let's go. So he goes to India. The documentary follows him. He goes to India. He meets up with all these other people who happen to also be pretty broken themselves. All beautiful people, but broken inside, right? And they're all getting the same surgery to get their eyes colored. So what happens is they get their eyes colored. They go through the surgery. They give them the wrong color. For one thing, which is crazy. He goes crazy in the dark. He's like, this is not what I ordered. He's just going crazy. But anyways, they calm him down. He gets the surgery on both eyes. Boom. He goes back home. But what happens is he finds out the hustle about 5 months later. Most people that get this surgery A year later, their eyes go crazy and they start to get these massive headaches. It's not natural. They say the eyes are the door to your soul, Chico.
Yeah,
Well, they just
yeah.
fucked with the door. Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he
yeah.
starts seeing shit, his head starts bumping, and then he starts doing a deep dive on this and sees that this is happening all over the place. That's how they got him. We'll give it to you for free if we can use you for promo. So he
Yeah.
ends up having to go back, get it all removed. But crazy documentary, the ups and downs. I really suggest
I'm gonna
for
have
the
to check
listener
it
and you
out.
to check it out.
Yeah. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now we end it with a challenge. You have a challenge for the listener that you can send them off with?
Yeah, I actually do have a challenge. I challenge you, listener, to 10 to 50 push-ups a day, every day,
Boom.
for the rest of your life. I'll tell you
Yes.
what. I challenged myself to do this 3 years ago. One day I was like, you know what would it take to do 50,000 push-ups in 1 year? And I did the math. I think it was 50,000. I did the math.
50,000.
Yeah. And it was about 130 something push-ups per day. Now you don't
That's
have to do
manageable.
those. You don't have to do those push-ups straight. And so I started, and I think I got to like between 25,000. And for some reason, I just stopped. I don't know why I stopped.
That's some San Quentin
But-
shit right there.
Yeah. But then what I realized was I had built a new habit. So now I just do 50. I cannot go a day without doing 50 push-ups before the shower.
I'm the same
Even
way.
so, even when we go to the gym, after I finish my workout, as soon as I get home and as soon as I'm about to jump in the shower, I just drop down and I do 50. Doesn't matter how tired I am. It doesn't matter how sore I am or how I'm feeling. I don't let any of my emotions get in the way. I challenge you to try that. And
That's
you'll see, like,
beautiful.
over time, it just builds this momentum. It builds this mental strength and physical strength, obviously, especially for men. It helps with your heart, right? Like push-ups really builds the muscle of your heart and stuff.
That's crazy. I do
So,
that
yeah.
every night before sleep. I do 50 push-ups, and I can't go to bed if I don't do this. 50 push-ups and 100 leg raises every
go.
single night.
Look at
And then
that.
I do my breathing exercise. Wim
Yeah.
Hof. Boom.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
night.
Boom. Done. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you heard it first. That's your challenge to go into the weekend. Do 50 push-ups every single day. I love it. My buddy Max P, he actually just got married in Ghana 2 weeks ago. Congratulations again, Max. His challenge, it was do 50 push-ups for 2 weeks. You just said for life.
life.
That's the best. For life. So we're going to end this off right here, man. So it's a little segment I like to call This or That. Basically, I give you A versus B, and you give me C. So let's see what happens right here. Since I'm talking to a movie star, since I'm talking to a fucking Hollywood star right now, I want to throw up some movies that I love, and I want to get your take, which one you would take, okay? So the
Okay,
first one
okay,
here, we
here
got
we go.
gangster flicks. My two favorite gangster flicks of all time. Goodfellas or Blood In, Blood Out. Who do you
man,
got?
this is
Tell me why.
Oh man, listen, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
You know, yeah, you got legends like Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta. You know, just the
Rest in
writing
peace.
alone and Martin Scorsese. Don't get me wrong, I love Blood In, Blood Out, but like it's just the class of Goodfellas gets me all the time. It was on the other day too. I was watching it the other day. I'm like, yo, Goodfellas, yeah.
Classic, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
guy used to say when he was sort of in the game doing what he was doing. They used to just have it in the background on a little TV in the background, just
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
constantly on repeat because of the music, because of the vibe, because of the feel. It just keeps you in that mood. Like, I dare a sucker to come in here. You know what I mean? Forget about it. I'll slice your fucking neck. I swear to God. This stuff right here, they don't got no clothes on. They're doing this shit naked. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
Are you sure you don't want to be an actor?
Oh man, I've been there. Cool. So
Funny
you
that
got
you bring out Goodfellas. I'm literally
Yeah.
I can see Soto right in front of me right now. I'm in Yorkville and Soto, you know Soto.
Yeah.
The restaurant, yeah, it's
Yes.
literally right in front of me. An Italian restaurant. You're talking
yes,
about
of course. Come on,
restaurants.
forget
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it. Yeah, so I'm Goodfellas too. But I'll tell you something. Like it's easy for me. Yes, I'm Goodfellas because
Yeah.
I'm half Italian, right? But I'm tell you something. I was given the VHS of Blood In, Blood Out. I think grade 8 for me. And this guy was like, he was one of the older guys. He's like, I think you'll like this. I swear, if I had any ounce of Chicano blood in me, I'd probably sway towards Blood In, Blood Out. That shit's crazy. That movie is madness. All right, next. If you got to go cross country, okay, you got Ryan Wedding's Sinaloa bag that you got to go from Ontario to BC, and you don't want to stick out. Manny, you don't want to stick out, okay? Which car are you going to take from Ontario to BC with that bag in the trunk? You're going to take a 1992 Mercury Topaz or this beautiful, beautiful 1992 Grand Am? We got the Topaz or the Grand Am. Which car are you taking so you don't stick out or get pulled over? Who do you got?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with the first one.
The Topaz.
I'm gonna have to go with the Topaz. You know what I mean?
Tell me why. Tell me why.
It's clean. You know, compared to the red. Red is a very hot color. You know,
Yeah,
that
that's
catches
true.
attention. It catches attention right away.
Yeah.
The white one is a bit more low key. You know,
That's a
it's
Portuguese
al-
Lamborghini right there.
yeah. It's almost angelic in a way.
It is.
You know, so like if I drive that with my hair combed out, maybe, you know, some reading glasses on.
You're not getting pulled over. Two hands on the wheel, man. Two hands on the wheel.
My shirt all the way buttoned up. I wouldn't have this beard. I'll shave it off. But
Yeah, just going to work, officer. Just going to work, officer. I hate my wife, but I'm going to work. All right, cool. You know what? I wasn't gonna do this one, but I'm gonna go back in the day to one more to my generation, man. This is what changed me. This is what changed me. I knew after this that I wasn't too much into the Disney blonde girls, right? I was more into a different type of shade. You know, the Italians, we like a darker shade sometimes. So who are you gonna go with back in the day? You gonna go with Kim or you gonna go with Foxy, man? When I saw that Foxy Brown cover, it changed my life. It changed my life. Who do you got, Kim or Foxy, man?
oh my God, bro, why are you doing this to me right? I would have to say Foxy Brown,
Yes.
man. Come on, bro.
Just easy, right?
Yeah.
It's easy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Foxy.
Kim had like she had swagger, you know,
Yeah.
like attitude, but there was something smooth about Foxy Brown.
I still remember
you know?
Foxy saying something about she said, yeah, they got my poster up in their jail cell. That is hard. Anyways, man, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's another edition of This or That. We're going to end it off right here. Usually I end it just giving like, yeah, man, go brush your teeth, stay clean. Don't ever leave the house smelling bad. Why don't you just let them know what's coming up, what's on board? I know you're moving to LA, things are happening. Why don't you let them know where they can find you?
Well, like most people now, everything's on social, so you can find me on Instagram at mcab. That's EMMKAB. And coming up, my movie Sway is gearing up to be on a streamer.
Do you have like 3 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's
Go
play
ahead.
let's play the trailer.
All right.
Let's play the trailer. Fuck it. I had it queued and I forgot to do it earlier. Let's do it right here. Let's go. Listen, what I said off the top, this guy right here, how many people you know I got a goddamn movie in Cineplex Odeon that you could go and you can watch this guy on a big screen, get some popcorn, get a little drink, get a little Skittles, stain your teeth. Here we go.
That's it.
Forget about it. Leave the naked ones at home, cooking up the dope, and go watch Sway.
James Drayton, also known as Sway.
This is a great trailer,
Who are
by the
you?
way.
My story has a long tail. To know me, you gotta know Parkwood. Highest rates in death and assault. But that was 15 years ago.
Stop.
Now, Parkwood is one of the safest neighborhoods in the country.
Side, trouble.
What kind of trouble? I'm his older brother, always gonna worry about it.
I'm sorry, bro.
Look, I don't know you, I don't know why my brother made a bet with you, but the situation's done.
It's not about the money.
There's men outside our house and they keep walking up to the windows.
If you met you, would you like you?
You do anything to my brother or my family, I don't care what I'll lose, I'll forget it all. There won't be one person you know who doesn't suffer.
Sway? Are you okay?
You bet with what you have. Starting to get the picture.
Wait, what are you doing here? What is this?
You're so far behind, you still think you're on first.
Why don't you go out there and ask everybody whose lives have changed because of me?
Sometimes our blind spots are
You got
bigger
that
than our
Leon
field of
star
vision.
thing, man. Leon.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you want to know the secret to lying? Including as much of the truth as possible.
Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
course.
The Sway is currently on Tubi in the United States. It's streaming, premieres soon here in Canada. So just finalizing all that stuff, and it'll be available to folks in Canada as well.
Boom. Well, I'm going to take your info social media wise, and I'm going to put it in the description of this episode. And I'll also put the link to that trailer right there for Sway in the description, so that if anybody wants to go check it out, I'll find it in the description, because I'm not trying to gas you up. When you first sent this to me, I said, that shit looks good. Like, it's legit.
Thank you. Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a joke.
I remember you text me. You sent me a text when you watched it, and you're like, yo, this is good.
Yeah,
It's really good.
legitimately
Thank you.
good.
It means a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Well, it means a lot that you came on, and I really appreciate it. And again, best of luck to you and your travels coming up very soon. We're all sending good vibes to you, man. So thank you very much, and we'll talk again, all right?
it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to jump in the portal with me. But do me one favor, all right? Hit subscribe on Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and leave a 5-star review so the algorithm kisses this pod and sends it out to the streets looking good, because that's how it works. Have a great weekend, and please don't ever forget this guy right here. He loves you.
That was good.
That was amazing, man.
Good. You're good, man.
Yeah,
You're good.
so I'll cut
You're
all that
good
up.
at what you do. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, you're solid.
Thank you, man.
I've done a bunch of different interviews and podcasts and stuff. This is definitely like my top 3. This was actually like solid.
I appreciate
It
that,
was
man. Well, you have
so
to have
good.
like a path, right? And it's got to stay
Yeah,
on that. You can adjust it over time, but I've been doing that for years, man. Sort of this type of
It
stuff.
was so good, man. Like I had a good time. Not once did I feel like, and you made me feel like I was at home.
That's
You made
amazing,
me
man.
feel like I was at home. It felt like we were just like 2 longtime friends having a conversation, and it didn't feel like I had to perform. Because sometimes like you can be
Oh, I know.
on a podcast and it feels like you have to perform and
Yeah.
stuff. But like this one,
I had battled that
even,
for
like,
years, man. I used to do
Yeah.
music for a very long
Yeah.
time, and I
Yeah.
used to put on a mask. And I remember when I first started this show, I called it the El Hoopo Show. I'm like, that's the last thing I need to do is just be me, man, and you don't
Exactly.
have to put on a show, because people can read that shit.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
thank you for being you. Thank you for being authentic. Thank you for this platform to allow me to be authentic and to speak my truth. And no, thank you, man. I really appreciate you,
man.
brother. Love. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll probably see you sometime soon
yeah.
at the gym, man.
For sure.
All right, dude.
For sure.
All right. Enjoy your day,
All right,
huh?
bro. You
All
too,
right.
man.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. What an interview. That was awesome. Man, that was good.